It's time for another professional match, and what I got for you today is a Protoss versus Terran played on Proxima Station LE. Spawning in the southwest corner, playing with the blue Protoss pieces, we have none other than my Insanity's PtitDrogo. And his opponent, spawning in across position and playing in red. Of course, playing for Team Liquid, he goes by the nickname of uThermal, or in-game, Liquid Thermi, because of the character limit. You literally cannot fit Liquid uThermal, so he was forced to change his nickname when he joined Team Liquid. Regardless though, of course, Liquid Thermi is going to be a fellow Dutchman, also from the Netherlands, just like myself, and PtitDrogo all the way hailing from France, or actually, it's not really that far away. I can be there probably, if I would drive down right now, I could probably be there in a couple of hours. Regardless though, these guys are definitely some of the best in their respective races in Europe as it is right now. They're most definitely at the top of the line right now, and they're very, very good at what they do. PtitDrogo going for that quick pylon, of course, gonna follow it up with a gateway, and he's already getting an assimilator as well. Heading down to the low ground here already. I wonder if he's planning to go for a super quick expansion. Judging by that probe micro there, I think he's just gonna mine a couple of minerals here, and before really saturating the gas geyser here in the main base, he's gonna put down the Nexus on the low ground here. Of course, we are on Proxima Station, so this is a relatively safe thing to do. Your opponent is going to have a very hard time pressuring that. Now, of course, uThermal, generally speaking, he doesn't really mind playing very aggressive, but usually he focuses on a macro-oriented style. He's most definitely known for his bio-based armies, so that would be a Marine Marauder medevac kind of style, and of course, this is most definitely the standard right now in this matchup as well, and really has been for a very long amount of time. I actually quite like this little rally point. So uThermal has decided he does not want to get the Reaper early on, and instead he gets a single Marine, and he's gonna start scouting here for any kind of proxies. So in Protoss versus Terran, it's very, very common to either hide a starport or any kind of other tech right here on the right hand side of the map, and instead of going for a Reaper, which oftentimes will not really get into the main base of the Protoss anyway because they can wall off here at the top of the ramp, this is a little bit of a safer approach and will really guarantee the scout, I suppose, and will really allow him to save that 50 gas early as well, so he can spend it elsewhere and go for that fast command center. Factory already going down. This is also the point where we see that second refinery being taken. And meanwhile, on the other end of the map, PtitDrogo has indeed put down that Stargate. So he is going to play a Stargate after all. It's just not going to be proxied on the other end of the map. And he really opted to go for a much faster expansion. So he's really going to try and chrono boost out as many workers as he possibly can. And of course, the worker count is a very, very, very important part of StarCraft 2. It's one of the things people don't really talk about it all too often. But one of the things that the professionals are very, very good at. And in particular, actually the Zerg players. I'm always really impressed by that, because Zerg always has to make the decision, right, whether or not you want to make drones or army units. Professional gamers in StarCraft 2 are very good at getting a ton of workers early on into the game and really building up that economy continuously. While it may not look as glamorous as the big battles, oftentimes that is indeed where the game is going to be decided. And already, actually, it's 30 workers in favor of Protoss right now, where Terran has got 25, but of course, they will have mules to mine with here as well. Oracle is already ready to go, of course. Well, actually, it's about 3/4 of the way done right now. There was just a simple adept here, moving across the map as well, doing a little bit of scouting. And it looks like he's gonna follow this up with 2 additional gateways. So far, really very, very standard here from PtitDrogo, really not going for anything funny. And while we did see a bit of a, a bit of a difference here by not opening up for a Reaper here for uThermal, he has followed it up with a pretty standardly timed factory here, and he's also gonna be able to follow it up with a starport now as well. Now, not opting for that Viking just yet, so he's gonna be in a little bit of trouble. The Marines are moving across the map right now, and there's not gonna be a whole lot available here for defense. Now, of course, the Cyclone will be timed out brilliantly here to defend against that, and that defense right there was absolutely spot on, absolutely beautiful. That medevac came out at the nick of time as well, and that means that he's gonna be able to load up all of those units and push them across the map. And it looks like this is right at the point in time as well where Protoss is trying to take their 3rd Nexus. Really cute little move here. I wasn't entirely sure if that Marine clump was it maybe a little bit too risky, but it looks like this may still be a little bit too much though, because there are quite a few Protoss units out, and while the Oracle does end up falling and the Mothership Core is taking a lot of damage, I'm pretty sure that he has bought himself enough time at the very least to go for a Photon Overcharger very shortly once he gets the energy for it, and to potentially keep the Nexus alive here on the low ground as well. But hold that thought though, because there are still quite a few Protoss units here to go ahead and defend against it. I was getting a little worried, but no, it does look like just barely in the nick of time there is uThermal going to be forced away, and the 3rd Nexus will hold for now. Very, very, very close early game there, but that most definitely means that we got a slight little lead right now for the Protoss player in blue. blue. They're still going to continue skirmishing here for a little while longer, taking losses on both ends of the spectrum, and now the mass recall will put the Protoss player here to safety and will really allow him to, of course, buy enough time and finish up that Nexus. Follow-up is going to be with Liberators. We now also do see that third command center for uThermal, but it is going to be a little bit late. Really spot-on defense right there by PtitDrogo. After he saw exactly what went down here in the main base, he immediately returned the Oracle, recognizing that there was a chance that Marines were out on the map. And if those Marines and the, Cyclone and then the reinforcing Marines in the medevac would have been able to group up together, I think that could have spelled disaster, because that third base would have most definitely been forced to get cancelled. And instead, PtitDrogo could take the engagement right there in 2 separate volleys instead. So there is going to be a continued building right now of a lot more Terran units, of course, but they're not going to have any upgrades. I mean, only just now do we see two additional what are they called, barracks go down, and they're gonna be able to switch over right here with the tech labs. So eventually, of course, uThermal is gonna be able to get himself that stim pack as well as the combat shield and whatnot. But for now, he's on a relatively poorly upgraded army. I mean, these Phoenixes have been going all over the map. They're just scouting out any kind of additional Liberator play, and I think that the one that was flying here previously must have gotten shut down here pretty easily as well, because I don't think any workers really have ended up falling in total. So far, I mean, PtitDrogo seems to be, on top of things. Now, of course, this is going to be a rather big push. Gotta keep in mind, there's no stim pack or combat shield or whatever available on these Marines just yet. So this is going to be a reasonably straightforward fight for the Protoss, as long as he does not lose the Nexus here and all too many workers. I mean, Photon Overcharge is so very good here for zoning. Now, of course, this is not quite game over just yet, though, because there aren't really that many Protoss units right now. Like, look at this. A couple of workers do end up falling, but PtitDrogo has really been focusing on attack. Really only just now do we see the first large warp in for this game, and this is the point where he will really start ramping up the unit production. Stimpack and Combat Shield here finally in production now as well for the Terran player here in red. He's going to be able to continue building up those Widow Mines and then start adding on the double Medevacs and potentially double Vikings as well, if he so, decides to do so. But I'm starting to get a little bit worried here, to be honest, for uThermal. He's still got a solid army. So, by no means is this game over just yet, right? But this is most definitely putting the ball in the Protoss' court, and Protoss most definitely wants to just simply live through the earlier part of the game, because if they manage to do so with just a slight little advantage, they're going to be able to push it, just like what PtitDrogo is doing right now with that Nexus here on the left-hand side of the map. He's also going to be able to continue attacking here. We see that Robotics Bay go down, as well as the second robotic facility. So very shortly, the double Colossi production or potentially double Disruptor production can begin. Actually, this pylon is hurting quite a bit. Not a whole lot of units right there. Apparently, though, there is going to be that single Raven trying to be a nuisance here, and it will be able to get another one of those auto turrets down. Auto turrets, of course, do a lot of damage nowadays, and they stay alive for a little while longer as of the recent patch. Apparently, one Hero Viking trying to do some scouting here as well for the Terran Dominion, but the War Prism is now flying on the right-hand side as well. And even though a couple of workers went down, and uThermal somehow, some way actually has crawled himself back into the supply count advantage, this War Prism has gone undetected so far. And it looks like this may very well trigger a push out right at this point in time for the Terran player. And if that is the case, this warp in right here is going to be a huge pain. Adepts immediately going after that mineral line are going to shade in, and actually this will also force the return right now for the Protoss unit. A whole bunch of Adepts do end up killing a bunch of these SCVs already, and look at that. I mean, this is a reasonably small investment, and once again, Protoss is buying time. Double Colossi are going down, extended thermal lens is being researched, and that's really the duty right now for this War Prism. You don't want to lose that. You do not want to lose that. Oh, that is a pretty tough thing, because at this point, once the Terran player recognizes exactly what happened, this is also the moment at which Terran can start moving across the map. Couple of Phoenixes being a little bit careless there. But I wonder, is this going to be a big enough Terran army to really start moving here? And is he feeling comfortable enough to really make that move? I think he's just having a little bit of a look right here, see if that War Prism is available still. I don't know if he saw that the missile turrets were going after it, but at this point, the Colossi are out, and this is looking very, very good right now for the Protoss player in this game. I mean, he's got 4 base economy, he's got a very large army, it's well teched up, and he's got the correct counters here to all of the Terra units that are currently available here. This going all down from that slight little bit of pressure after the Oracle. If you would not have been able to, shut down those first, 6 Marines or so that moved across the map, I think that this engagement right here would look completely differently. Right now, the Protoss is most definitely ahead when it comes to the supply counts here. Now, army-wise, Terran is still looking extremely powerful, but here the stim comes in. Protoss is gonna try and head after all of those bio units as well. Adepts are being sent to the different corners here of this engagement, and with a huge amount of army, PtitDrogo shuts it down. He's capable of really like picking off a lot of those units, and while the Phoenixes are currently on the chase, right? They're trying to shoot down however many Medivacs they can. More bio units are also joining this fight. I think that the longer this goes on, the more in favor of the Protoss player it will go, because these Marines, right, they're stuck in that Medivac. That Medivac will end up falling as well. That was a huge amount of supply right there, and PtitDrogo absolutely crushes it, and uThermal is forced to GG out of the game. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. And other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.